Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Tonight, we're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case out of Tucson, Arizona. What we know about the polygraphs in the Nancy Guthrie case. Also, Savannah Guthrie returns to the Today Show. Eerie video of Nancy Guthrie's last Uber ride. There has been reports that it has been leaked, that video. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe you have, but we got a lot to talk about on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace, smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong, but honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me stand.
Give it with me.
I've been whispered about and written off, judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch.
Thank you, Stage 3. Good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch.
Well, hello, 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 everyone. Good to see you all. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is March 21st, 2026. It is currently 8:40 p.m. in the East Coast of the United States. How are you? Ruby. Hello, my beautiful pearls. Thank you all so much for joining me. Tonight, we are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. A lot coming out, and also, she's still not found, though. And where is she? That's truly the $1 million question. Actually, $1.2 million question. And still yet, nothing, nothing makes me believe that it is close. Very, very close to Nancy, wherever she is. Good to see everyone in chat. Before we get started, if you don't mind, please do me a favor for the live chat and for the replay crew. Please hit that thumbs up button. I would be so, so thankful. I know we're always asking you that here, but it is a small little tap and it helps tremendously, so more than you know, or double tap on that screen if you're on the mobile. Also, if you would consider sharing the live out or after the live stream, consider hyping this video. You get 3 hypes a week. If you don't use it, you lose it. It would really, really appreciate that. Good to see everyone in chat. Hello, Grace, Ginger, peace of all. Good to see you. Luck O. Um, Jules Lynn, good to see you, honey. Christy, Starla, good to see you. Grace, hello, darling. Stage 3, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. I really, really, really appreciate that, my dear. How you doing? Christy, good to see you. Sandwich, hello. Not Lob, Deb, good to see you. Forget Me Not, thank you so much for gifting 5 necklaces. Really do appreciate that. Forget Me Not. You are such an OG here. I love you and adore you, and just so thankful for not only your support, but just being here for such a long time. I really, really do appreciate that, my dear. Good to see you. Susan and Grace, Sherry, good to see you. Ginger, Connie, Jason, good to see you. Casey, Sue, Deb, Leslie, always keeping it real. Who else do we got? Peggy, Tina, Luck O. Good to see you, darling. Anna Banana. Hello, darling. Susan, Robin, Crazy Buck. Good to see you, dear. There's our YouTuber, Starla again. Thank you. Good to see you. Ruby. Hello, darling. Good to see you. Kim. It's me. Good to see you. Teresa. Smiley, Miley, good to see you, hun. Susan. Who else do we got? Bushi, good to see you, honey. Pam, good to see everyone. Hey, Alicia, good to see you, honey. Oh, thank you so much, Anne Marie. Thank you so much, Ellen. Appreciate you for gifting that pearl necklace. If you receive that, make sure you guys think Anne Marie and Forget Me Not. Thank you both so much for your support. Really, really do appreciate that, my dears. Um, okay, so what has happened in the last 24 hours in this case? Well, a few things that was being reported. It was kind of being reported yesterday that um, about the Uber. We did talk about it yesterday. They said it was nothing too significant that they seen, but there was an outlet. Let me pop this up here in a second. We're going to get to some videos and stuff here in a little bit, but we're going to get with Stylecaster. Eerie video of Nancy Guthrie's last Uber ride leaks. Officials reveal if there is anything irregular with her. There's nothing irregular about it, but it does say leaks, and it just kind of made me wonder: has anyone seen this The video, I mean, it wouldn't like shock me if it leaked or anything like that, but I don't know. Is Justin just frozen with me? I hope not. Am I frozen, guys? From Jump, I was so upset. Yeah. Thank you, Robin. Good to see you. Am I frozen? Okay. I'm okay right now. I don't know. It's been really, really weird the last like 3 weeks or a month. YouTube has so. y- Okay. I'm not. All right. Okay, just making sure. Hey, Deb, good to see you, baby. Thank you so much. You're very supportive. I really appreciate that, my dear. I love you, Justin. This group means a lot. Thank you so much. Love the mods and love my Pearl chat. Thank you for letting me be part of the family. Deb, thank you so much for being part of this family and thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your input, all the above. I really, really do appreciate you, Deb. And everyone who comes in, they're always like, this is the best chat. And I'm like, I know. They really are the best. Thank you, Deb. Appreciate you. Thank you, Carol. Uh, yes, Nano Senator Kelly and Savannah? I don't think Savannah needs to be investigated, in my opinion. I think Savannah is really going through a lot, in my opinion. But that's uh, thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate you, my friend. Um, so there's nothing really anything irregular. Now the polygraphs. I told you guys I spoke about this. He sends good to see, honey. Um, I spoke about these polygraphs. Uh, God, it was within the first week of Nancy going missing. I was speaking to someone very close when this happened. And I told you that Tommaso and the family did a polygraph very, very early on in the beginning. And our friends Megan Kelly and, oh, what's that? Okay, I got you. All right. Megan Kelly and Ashley Banfield are talking about this polygraph, right? So there's that. Um, yes, Sherry, from what I understand, hey, Word Sleuth, good to see you, Miss Eureka. Hello, seriously, good to see you. And this is truly the most confusing case I think the media has ever covered. It feels like almost, and the reason is everyone is getting. Usually, our sources pretty much line up. They kind of are always. They might differ a little bit, but our sources will kind of be in the same ballpark. This case, it is not like that at all. At all. You will get, for instance, Ashley Banfield here, uh, who has a lot of integrity and has been in journalism for a long time. She had good sources, and they was kind of seemingly looking toward Tommaso. Now, I want to say that just because they were looking a certain way at a certain time doesn't mean things can't change, right? Doesn't mean things can't change. Okay. They could have been like zoning in on Tommaso in the beginning. And a week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, something changed. However, I mean, I understand that they have to investigate in the beginning, the family and all of that. I still am confused on a lot of things that they did with the family, like keep going back over and over, like keeping the vehicle longer than anybody. Um, Tommaso and Annie, they haven't really spoken out. Annie's been part of the videos with Savannah and Cameron, but she hasn't really spoken out, which that doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. It doesn't, but you would just think that she would a little bit. Um, but then you have a whole other um, people with their sources who go in a completely different direction, right? And not only that, again, we talk about Carlos, we talk about the dailies, the FBI was there, and then they left both places whenever we thought we were getting a big break, and it was nothing. Savannah has returned back to the Today Show, and today was the first day. Let me show that real quick. Today was the first day that she actually posted something on her Instagram, kind of unreally related since her mother went missing. Um, and, it's just got to be so difficult for, I mean, like, you get it because if you've ever lost someone really close, um, and I think we can all pretty well assume, unless there's this big miracle, that Nancy is probably not alive. Most probably not alive. So sometimes going back to work and staying busy really helps. It really helps. But also, even in the midst of that, there's those unsettling times in that pit of your stomach where you think about your loved one, and just with hers, it just not being resolved and not knowing, see, like, she hasn't been able to lay her mother to rest. Can you imagine? Something horrible happened to Nancy, and she hasn't even got to lay her mother, her sweet 84-year-old mother who loved her more than anything, to rest. She's out here somewhere, and somebody took her out of her bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. You are just laying in your bed, the most safest place that you should ever be, the most intimate place that you can be. And someone comes in your home and not only violates your privacy, but takes your life. Most probably takes your life. After living 84 years on the planet, um, having 3 kids, a husband, and all of that. It's unreal. It's unreal. And so Savannah is a mother, and she's a wife, and she has a job and responsibilities, and you kind of got to go on. But still going on, not having those answers. That's devastating. Hmm. It is. It really is. Forget me not. It is truly a nightmare. Truly a nightmare. And just laying your head down every night, not knowing, where your mother is. To me, I cover more missing persons than I do really anything. Um, Everyone kind of has their genre of what they like to cover the best. I've always liked to cover the mystery. part of it. How do we find those answers? And to me, the reason I think of it this way is there is just someone who takes your life, someone's life, and then they hide them. Like they're out, they just like whether they're buried in a grave or they're just thrown out, regardless, they're thrown out like trash. And to me, it's like a double, it's double, you just double heinous. It really is that they not only violate them in such a way, they hide them from their family, hide them from their loved ones, hide them from the respect that they deserve to at least be laid to rest whenever they are already violated in the worst way. So it's really bad, right? Good to see you, Jenny. Thank you so much. Hey, Pam. Good to see you. Thank you, Lucko. Just bring her home. Thank you so much for your support, my dear. I know. It's been way too long, way too long. And just the last nearly 50 days has been the most stressful. I can guarantee you that I'm sure that they've ever had, Savannah and the family. Do we know if she went to the casinos? Someone may have met her there, might explain home refinancing. Another day, that's a very good point. There has been reports that Nancy liked to go to the casinos at times, which is not unusual or anything. That's interesting. That's really interesting. There has been reports. I don't know a lot about it, but I think I will look into that. Yes, there is, Ginger. Yes. hmm That's a very good point. I'm gonna look a little bit more into that. I'm gonna make me a note. Thank you for that, my dear. Okay, so this is let me just show you this real quick. Savannah posted this today on her Instagram.
Watch the sign because we know how much you love Savannah.
Yes.
Yes.
Tomorrow's World Down Syndrome Day, and we're marking it early with some friends from Best Buddies.
Yes. The organization, of course, is dedicated to improving the
Look what the sign says. It's a sweet gal that has Down's syndrome, and she says, "We love you, Savannah," just showing love.
lives of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It is also near and dear to Savannah. There she is right there. Savannah has worked with Best Buddies for many, many years now and has been Best Buddies with Tara for about a decade. Tara, welcome back. Tara's here with her mom, Pat, rather. Tara, first of all, love the sign.
Thank you.
You want to share with us why you're here this morning?
We are here to celebrate
World
World Down Syndrome Day
with Best Buddies.
with Best Buddies.
You know what? We love so much this sign because we know how much you love Savannah.
Yes.
Yes.
Tomorrow's World Down Syndrome.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? That's those are absolutely God's people right there. I'm telling you, just the most purest of hearts. God bless her. Very, very get you choked up. Hey, Hamitude, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you. Thank you for gifting a prayer necklace. Really do appreciate that, Hamitude. If you receive that, make sure you thank that Hamitude. Thank you for your support, my friend. Really, really do appreciate you, my dear. Good to see you. And thank you for your support. They probably know where she was going and doing because they got her checkbook and a look at her account. Well, there's nothing that was taken that we are aware of out of her home. Nothing that we are aware of. A few things that we're going to be covering tonight. First, we're going to cover Megyn Kelly did a good piece with Ashley Banfield here, and it is on the lie detector, the polygraph test. Put a 1 in the chat if you have faith in the polygraphs. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't, and put a 3 in the chat if you really have no opinion. I'd like to kind of see where you are. I mean, polygraphs are a tool. In my opinion, they shouldn't be made to base an entire decision. Damn, really? That many 2s? That's really amazing to me. I wasn't expecting that. Now, that one really shocked me, guys. From what I understand, they're about 65 to 70 some percent accurate, but I think it really depends on who you are as a person, to be honest with you. And there are ways to manipulate them and all that. I think they're a good tool to use, but again, I'm not going to base my entire I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket with this. So we're going to go to our friend Megyn Kelly. Guys, make sure you sub up to Megyn Kelly. Link is in the description. And I'm going to drop the link again here in chat as well. I want to talk to you guys about something here. And then
he's also a former SWAT. He said he has a boots on the ground source in Arizona who told him there are no suspects and that the family has all passed polygraphs. Quote.
Sometimes, Ashley, you can just tell on her face, like what she's thinking. I think sometimes, like, I know she's, really being professional and stuff, but her sources have obviously told her different. And she just starts blinking like, oh, really?
With flying colors. So
I have that too. Believe it or not, I've got the same. I go a little further on that. My source said,
"Yeah, tell me
that." And I haven't reported this yet because I'm still trying to put my finger on it. And this was actually like, I want to say 2.5 weeks ago. My source said that the family was all given polygraphs. They must have been given those polygraphs in the home that they were staying in, the private home they were staying, because they didn't march them into the sheriff's department to do that. And typically those polygraphs aren't given, from what I understand, in the sheriff's department anyway, but they must have taken the gear to the home where they were at. But my source said that they cleared the family based on polygraph tests and voluntarily turning over their electronic devices. And I thought, well, that's odd. That's not typically how you clear somebody. I would turn over any device that I didn't use in a crime.
Right. The wording is very interesting on that, don't you think? Voluntarily turning over their electronics. Again, I have no suspicion at all, zero, zilch, nada, ever of Savannah or Cameron, obviously. And I understand that Savannah has been, quote, livid, as end quote, the media reports, because, people have been a lot more suspicious of her sister and Tommaso, but you would think that they would have went ahead and got warrants for their phone regardless.
It's just a weird thing to do. And polygraphs, as you know, they're great investigative tools, but you can't use them in court. They don't stand up in court because they're not the kind of technology that is trustworthy as,
Well, the other thing is, if I'm Savannah Guthrie And I know very well that my family has been, mentioned as possibly involved in this, and I don't believe they were involved at all. I would make sure I had the best lawyer money could buy for when they came out and sat with my sister and my brother-in-law. And I'm not sure who would have selected the polygrapher. I really don't you don't have to do it. You could say, we'll do it, but it has to be somebody that we find. And probably the cop.
Yeah, I mean, you don't listen. Just so you know, in the United States, you have the right, and no matter how much pressure you're under, I just can never stress this enough. I know when you're in like the hot seat, it feels different at the time, but you have the right to speak or not speak. And if you say no to a polygraph, it doesn't mean you're any more guilty, and they cannot hold that against you. Now, you can say, why wouldn't I do a polygraph? I'm absolutely innocent. But I am not sure I'm going to let this machine on how my physiology is that, right then, to determine what they associate. I mean, how I answer the questions right now, to be honest with you. I can't say I wouldn't do it, but I can tell you, always ask for an attorney. If you are guilty, you need an attorney. If you are innocent, you really need an attorney. Okay.
Would have said, okay. I feel like Nanos would have been like, that's fine by me. So we actually don't know the specifics of that. Like, the more I think about it, this whole week, I've been wrestling with that news. Like, do I believe in this? Does it change my opinion of whether?
And that's exactly right, Holly. She points out that the perpetrator didn't have their phone with them during the crime. So yeah, you can look at my phone. And that's the thing. But if they don't have their phone, is it really going to matter? Maybe not. However, the one thing that it can also show them is that they may have had conversations that could be relevant to Nancy's case 2 weeks prior, a month prior, if someone was even hired or whatever, right? So it could help with that as well. Hey, Miss Michelle, thank you so very much, my friend. Good to see you. I don't think Tommaso is guilty. He looked same height as Savannah in video. Justin, what do you think? I can tell you that I would bet 100% that this is not Tommaso. I would bet that 100% this is not Tommaso. But there's just so many questions. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would be a lot more comfortable if the FBI would come out and say, okay, family's cleared. Because Sheriff Doofy, Nanos, he's the most misleading character of any sheriff that I have ever seen. You know what I mean? So I can't, to be honest with you, I can't say that I am. I won't say that they're involved in any way, shape, or form, but I also can't say the other as well. I hope to God that they are the last people. You know what I mean? But for me, the questions are the timing of when this happened, the going forensics in their house multiple times, right? How they suddenly ran over there one day, started talking to the neighbors, asking about cameras, going in and out of neighbors' homes, searching their yards, and all of that. And keeping their vehicle for so long. And that could be just because they had no idea, they had no leads or anything, so they were just really, really checking. But I don't think, I will say that I don't think Tommaso or any family member committed the crime. You know what I mean? He's definitely not the porch guy. Definitely not the porch guy. But there has been, there was a lot of interesting things that happened. It appeared last year, that they were, they bought. I don't know. It's really weird. That's the problem with this case, right? Because I just talked about all the things I mentioned, and then again, you have Carlos, and then you have the Dailies, and it just, I mean, the only thing I could think of why there's these three separate, well, I can think of two reasons, three separate that they were seeming to really look into, is that, again, they either had no idea, which is, in my opinion, completely possible because Sheriff Doofy just screwed it up, or could they know each other? I don't know. I truly have no idea. Giggle says, in my opinion, everything seems sus at this point because so much miscommunication and theories until they start thinking about the victim and start from square one. Well, I think we would have been a hell of a lot further down the road if this sheriff had truly worked with the FBI on day one, let them do the lab work, let them take over. He had his brother die the next day. Let them process the crime scene like it was supposed to be. I mean, the damn doormat's still out there, right? And like the first 3 weeks, he was just essentially, allegedly, giving the FBI the cold shoulder. Now, why? Because, in my opinion, he is a temperamental crybaby. He's a temperamental crybaby. And I'm going to show you here in a minute after this what a good detective does, what a good police officer does, what a good investigator does. And it's actually the complete opposite of what Nanos did and said. And I'll explain it a little bit more in a little bit.
That the family might possibly have had some involvement. I don't believe Annie Guthrie or Tomas were able to fool a polygraph. That doesn't seem.
Hold on. I'm going to pop that up. A lot of people's talked about this. A lot of people sent it to me about the Tommaso, the way he walks and his gait and stuff. It's not Tommaso. It's not Tommaso. I'm telling you. I promise you guys, this is not Tommaso. This guy is in his late 20s, most likely 30s. But so, other people disagree.
Likely with like a poet and a band member, like they've got some stone cold ice in their veins. I just don't know about that, but I'm not sure it's determinative of whether
Yes.
they're no longer under suspicion or not either.
Yeah. I don't know. There are some FBI sources of a colleague of mine who told her that the FBI doesn't feel the level of suspicion about the family members as much as they did in the beginning. But again, that's hard to quantify. But I just feel like,
Okay. Now, let's talk about that. They don't feel the same suspicion as they did in the beginning. What does that mean? Right? And Ashley's right. How do you quantify that? But what would have changed that? Was it their phones? Was it the polygraph? Was it something else? Who knows? Hey, Deb, thank you so much, my friend. Really do appreciate your support. Justin, I believe the perp was hired for the hit as he made no dollar from the abduction. The real question, who benefited from this? Follow the money. I agree. I think this is... I would be surprised if this guy is the main guy. I would be surprised. I feel like he was the help, just my opinion, based upon his behavior in the video. Doesn't seem like he was the one that planned this. The planner generally is the one that's doing the quick actions. They're going there, they're on a mission. This guy seems like, yeah, I'm helping out kind of thing. But again, you're right. Who benefits from this? Who would benefit? I say it every single live, and I'll continue saying it. Who benefits from an 84-year-old dying and can't allow her to live any longer? You are either so angry, so pissed, so vengeful, or this is going to help you financially. Because again, statistically, she's 84 years old. She just turned 84 years old. Statistically, she's not going to live a year. She might live another 10 years, but statistically, you're not going to live another year being 84 years old. I know that sounds a little harsh, but it's statistically true. So, who was it?
if you were so gung-ho in the early part of the investigation about this family,
Thank you, Deb.
to the
Appreciate
extent
you.
that you did the things you did, and then halfway through the investigation, you wanted to clear them, then clear them.
And not only clear them, say, in my opinion, why you cleared them. So the public will leave it be. Leave it be, right? If they are clear, you can say how you ruled them out, and it's not going to affect Nancy's case. We ruled them out based upon polygraphs, surveillance, their phones, the electronics. And say that. Say they're cleared and how you came to that. Please. So if they are clear, like you say they are, so everyone can move the hell on, shut up about it, and let's go on. Onward and upward. Right? FBI clears no one, so it doesn't matter what Nanos says. And that's the truth. FBI usually doesn't clear anybody until there's an arrest. But, Sheriff Doofy, how'd you get to the conclusion?
Don't drag things out and toy with the media and obfuscate, because it doesn't do them any good. And so it seems that Sheriff Nanos has had, a special place in his heart for the Guthrie family. He even said as much as, and I'll paraphrase here, like, Savannah's Tucson's daughter, and we love this family, which I also thought, look, that's fine if you feel that way, but you got a job to do. You have a job to do. And in the beginning of an investigation like that, in any missing persons investigation, you have to start with the family. It's just 101. As sad and as difficult as it is, it's 101. You've got a job to do. So you shouldn't be making those kinds of comments. You should.
She's absolutely right. And it does seem like he is really close with the family. I wonder if Nanos knew Nancy. He's been there so long. She's been there so long. And I think, I don't like to talk about politics or anything like that, but they are in the same and so was half of America, by the way, but the same political identity, I guess, political party. That's what I'm looking for. I wonder if they were, they did political functions together or whatever at times. So I really, I think, I wonder if he really knew her.
Shouldn't be telling everybody how special this family is that you're supposed to be investigating. You should just stick to the damn work and do the work.
right,
and after it's all resolved, have a coffee party or do whatever. But in the meantime, that doesn't give people a lot of faith in, your focus on this.
No one has faith. I know you have to run, so I just want to ask you two quick questions if you can spare the time. Number one, quickly, do you think this case will be solved?
So I do. I actually really do. Like you and I were just talking about, this guy is not Mensa. He's done some things and it will trip him up. Whether we are going to ever find Nancy is a different question. I'm not 100% sure about that. Given the Woodrum case and what I learned in the Woodrum case, it was very disheartening in that regard. And for that, my heart breaks for the Guthrie family. But I do think like I said, it took 7 months to get Nancy Woodrum's killer. And I do think that with the full weight of the US government and the technology and the bungling nature of this guy, yeah, I do think we're going to find him.
Doug and I, every day I love Zach Peter. He's been commenting on this case online. I've had him on the program. He's very funny, but he's been helping draw attention to this. And he keeps saying, where's the lady? They never found the lady, and it's like, Doug and I say that to each other, where's the lady? Like, it's just a short form way of keeping her in our thoughts. They have to find the lady. They have to. Like, America has become obsessed with finding this particular lady for a.
Yes. And Ashley's right. They may find the person or persons, but will they find Nancy? I pray to God.
Bunch of reasons, and I just feel like if they can get the perp, the odds go way up of finding the lady, of finding poor Nancy. Maybe they cut a deal, maybe they shave something off the punishment, but we've got to find Nancy. All right, the last thing I want to ask you about.
Arizona has death penalty, right? Arizona has death penalty, so
they got
that's
something to
something you
bargain
can
with.
dangle. You can dangle death penalty and say, you give us the location, because not every day do you get the guy who came in and just coughed up every detail about the Nancy Woodrum, murder.
Last but not least, Ashley, Savannah's got to return to the NBC set soon. And the reports are that they're having lots of meetings, of course, as they would at NBC. They have 10 meetings for everything. How should it be orchestrated? How do they make it easy for Savannah? How do they make it easy for an audience that now is looking at Savannah as a crime victim primarily to start to see her again as a news anchor? And I wonder if you have any thoughts on that. You worked at NBC for a long time. I have to ask you because you and I talked about this before together on the air. NBC is not super chummy and always a family and so nice and so good to everybody. There are all sorts of cutthroat dynamics that will be going on behind the scenes, even though this is a Savannah Guthrie case, even though this is her mother, even though there's a bunch of empathy for Savannah. Like, I'm sorry, but network news is just a toxic stew. And the nastiness toward you by Katie Couric
Cutthroat.
made national news. She wrote about it in her book, how she did not want to help you. Sorry. I just like, it's just relevant because I've been trying to tell the audience, you're going to be manipulated by the producers at NBC. They're working on it right now. And she admitted that she did it to you. You were so graceful about it. By the way, you were so kind. You were like, you're Canadian. You're a nice person. You were like,
not always.
Oh, I'm sad to hear that she did that to me. I would have handled it a different way entirely, but you're a nicer person than I am. So just having said all that, what do you think the challenges are and how do you think this is likely to be handled?
You know, it's a really good question because you're right. I think the viewers will be seeing her as a victim, and she's got to get back to a new normal. But adopting your new normal, it's really tricky. And I can only speak from the experience of having been a victim in 9/11 that life was completely different afterwards. And I
I'll
think
pull it now.
probably it's PTSD, but I for years would break into tears. At the mention of 9/11 in front of a crowd, and it was humiliating. It was embarrassing. Like, I remember getting up to do one of my first speeches in New York City. It was probably a year afterwards. I come back from war. My first mention of 9/11, the night having been a victim in 9/11, that life was completely different afterwards. And I think probably it's PTSD, but I for years would break into tears. At the mention of 9/11 in front of a crowd, and it was humiliating. It was embarrassing. Like, I remember getting up to do one of my first speeches in New York City. It was probably a year afterwards. I come back from war, and suddenly it just came over me, and it wasn't even a topic about 9/11. And I just started to cry on stage, and it was so embarrassing. And that was my biggest struggle, was to try to get back to my old normal, and understanding that my new normal is going to come along for the ride, and so for Savannah, for her, it's going to be really hard, to be under the microscope those first few times.
Yes.
And then for the producers, I don't know. I honestly, this is such weird territory. I don't know what's best. Probably to do packages. And for viewers who are watching right now, packages are what you do when you tape things and you edit pretty pictures, much like you saw those lovely things with her mom. They're not live. And you can break down and you can take a moment and then get back, get your wits about you and continue. And
yeah, because when you're live like that, like real world happens, right? Like, I can package a really pretty video, and we can all package pretty videos here, but when it's live, emotions happen, all of the things happen, and when you're already at work and all of it's coming in, it can hit you. She's absolutely right.
So I'm assuming that maybe her return in the beginning won't be a lot of live, because live is where it's just so unpredictable.
Fraught.
And the pressure and the emotion, all of it is just so much. So keeping her limited in the live and more on tape with packages and interviews that might have been pre-taped, that might be the easier way for her, but she will get through it. She will have her life back, but this will be the worst knowing hole for her. And for that reason, you're right. They better find the lady.
Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at spot price.
Okay. So, there we go. Thank you for that, Megan. Okay. So, we're going to go. Yeah, I can play that real quick. Then we're going to go to this really very, very interesting interview. Very interesting. Here we go.
And I wanted to take some time out to tell you about a special we have running tomorrow night here on News 4 Tucson. It's called Bring Her Home, The Disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. And
that's supposed to be playing in a little bit. Leslie, which one was you talking? What was you talking about a second ago? Leslie, keeping it real. Okay. Here we go. This is crime reconstruction.
That she got up and out of bed and had a confrontation with somebody, or was she taken from her bed? What does the blood look like inside the house? I went out and visited the house. I was actually out in Tucson. The blood stops at the end of that walkway.
Today, I am joined by Morgan Wright, who is a former
away with this, but it all boils down to kind of what you and I were talking at the beginning. It really determines how easy it's going to be to find this person, is to make sure we have the crime correct. And I don't think we really know what the crime is. Either the crime was a burglary that went wrong, or it was never a burglary. And that
I think that the poll question, what do I have the poll question as? I think it's, do you think this is random? Does this case feel random or intentional to you? In the one chat, 83% says intentional, 9% says random, 7% says something else.
That's going to determine the type of people you look for, the type of suspects, different skill sets, if you follow what I'm saying. But if I'm looking for a burglar in my days when I was doing the work, when I'm looking for a burglar, we knew people that did burglary. We knew what kind of skills they did. We know what kind of things they do, where they hung out, what their tool set would look like, what type of actions they would take before. People are creatures of habit. People behave the same. The 9/11 hijackers, the 7705 train bombings, Lashkar-e-Taiba, the attackers in Mumbai, everybody, even terrorists, follow what we call the terrorism planning cycle. So when I look at this, the first thing we have to come to terms with, was it a burglary gone wrong, or was it never a burglary? And then to your point, Jack, once we start addressing that the way we should, that'll start telling us what kind of person should we be looking.
But if it's a burglary, you're not going to be, this person's not going to be there days and weeks prior to this happening, right? This guy in the photo, right? Even though he does kind of look unprepared, he is prepared. He has the mask on. He has a backpack. He is double gloved. He has a pew-pew between his legs. He looks like he's got multiple layers of clothing on. If he was there prior to Nancy, maybe the 11th, maybe the 24th, maybe even 10 a.m. on the 31st. This is as planned as it gets, in my opinion.
Because somebody who does targeted kidnappings and targeted abductions is a different skill set and a different methodology and a different tradecraft than somebody who's only there to commit burglary.
We had a former FBI special agent on, Jen Coffindaffer, a couple of weeks ago, who gave us a play-by-play of how the criminals that did this entered the house and the kind of methodology they used. It seemed that she was intimating that more than one person was involved, that this was not a burglary gone wrong, and that there was even perhaps entry from the back door. You've clearly studied this case extensively, and what I'm wondering is, can you give us your own play-by-play with the...
Okay, chat. How do you think the burglar got in your opinion? Was it front door, back door, garage door, window? Write it in the chat. I want to see what you guys think.
Information at hand of what you think happened.
Yeah, Jackson, good question, because that's what everything starts from, right? The house is the event generator. So the first thing we have to understand, was it a burglary that got wrong, or was it never a burglary? And then when I'm looking at this, if I'm showing up to the scene, then I look for a burglary. If it's a burglary that's gone wrong, then the biggest question you have to ask, because remember, humans don't behave better under stress. They behave worse under stress. You shoot worse, you drive worse, you run worse. When you think about this, somebody who enters a house whose intention was burglary, their intention was theft, what conditions had to exist inside the house for a burglar to think that kidnapping somebody and taking them out of the house was less risky than just fleeing? In so many cases, I will tell you, I never had a case. There was sometimes violence, but I never had a case in a burglary to where somebody kidnapped the person, even though it's at night. They thought the house, even if they broke into the house knowing the homeowner was in there, they didn't want the confrontation. That's why they break in at night. That's why they break in while people are asleep. That's why they try and find an unlocked door, because
they usually try to break in when someone's not at home, so they don't have that confrontation, and so they don't have to potentially fight someone or be unalived. You don't want someone with a pew-pew barreling down at you either.
Locked door is easier to get into than breaking out the glass. I look at that and I say, what are the indicators that would tell you that it was a burglary gone wrong? Well, then you'd have to look at signals of theft. Were items staged inside the house to be taken? We know that the offender, we can see the video, had a backpack, typical what burglars do, want to keep their hands free. They use the bite light, again, keep their hands free. Same thing for auto burglars. They're basically set the same way. One's breaking into a car, one's breaking into a house. So I would look for what signals existed inside the house to tell me that this was a burglary gone wrong. Then you would have to show me then why would that offender think that taking a body and increasing my risk, because then this does lead into, at some point, there is, I believe, a second person involved in.
Because in my opinion, the goal was Nancy. That was the goal. The goal wasn't anything in the house. It wasn't jewelry. It wasn't electronics. It was Nancy. Nancy was the goal, to remove Nancy, which is extremely rare.
I'll get to that on my other side of the binary question. Oh, and here's one other thing, Jackson, a lot of people aren't talking about. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think about this, because a lot of people don't think through the whole thing. When I ask you, like, how do you get out of bed in the morning? It sounds like a weird question, but trust me, it's going to lead somewhere. How do you get out of bed?
Rose in Toronto says front door. Otherwise, there would be no need to remove the door camera. If it was the garage or other point, they would have used the same to get out. That's a good point. However, I do think, I don't know how they came in. I think it's very possible the back door, but I do believe Nancy was taken out by the front door. And I do believe the reason they used the front door is because they pulled the car up close right there where it kind of goes around. And I think they placed her in the vehicle there. I think this guy is walking up kind of nonchalantly and appears to ring the doorbell like he's waiting for someone to open the door. I hope to God that they have more footage. I really do. Michelle, thank you again, honey. Appreciate you. By the way, I saw older pictures of a particular person wearing a pinky ring. He doesn't now. It's same person you mentioned earlier. Interesting. A pinky ring is it's something that a lot of men don't wear. Some men do, right? But I think it's more rare. You know, like some men you'll see wear a thumb ring or a pinky ring or whatever, but it's not a lot.
In the morning.
Well, to that I'd say I'd pull the blanket off of me and I'd put my feet on the ground and I'd kind of sit on the bed for a second before standing up.
That's exactly right. That's what people do. A lot of say, I get out of bed, I take the blanket. Now let's assume it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're in a house all by yourself and somebody decides that they want to abduct you. They're going to reach in and grab you out of your bed. Do you think the blanket and everything's going to be folded back the same way?
No.
What we're looking for are indicators. What does even the bedroom look like? Does the bed show indications that she got up and out of bed and had a...
Nanos, which again, it's Nanos, he said she was taken from her bed. To me, I think, just an opinion, I think it's, if she was unalived in her bed, I think it's very possible that they moved her with the sheet that was probably under her. You know how, like, I talked about it the other day, how they like move you in a hospital or something from a gurney to another gurney or to a bed or whatever. I think that is very possible.
Confrontation with somebody, or was she taken from her bed? So that gets into, was it a targeted abduction?
Told us.
Then with the targeted abduction, again, you look for three things: entry, forced, consensual, or...
Well, we know for a fact that the front door has Nancy's blood, right? Nancy was at that front door at some point. Her body was, whether that was alive or deceased, she was there during, we'll say this, 41 minutes or more. She was there. That's something, because her blood is there, that you really can't argue, because she was there. Now, whether she was there voluntarily, she came to the door, if she tried to run, if she was walked out, if she was carried out, she was there, right?
Pre-staged. In this case, we know it was not pre-staged because we see the offender on the outside of the home. Then the question becomes, was it forced or consensual? Chances are she wouldn't open the door at 2:00 in the morning. I mean, that's human behavior. So what I've seen much of the drone video that flies around, there's no indications that there was forced entry. But here's the thing. She's 84 years old, lives in an area where very little crime, if any. Look, I'm pretty security conscious. I left my garage door open all night. And it's like, man, I forgot I did that. Is it unrealistic to think that an 84-year-old woman who just gets into a habit, thinks that her doors are locked, may have left the door open? That would have facilitated an entry into the home to make it easy. But that standpoint to finish the other part of the binary.
I think it's most probably her doors were locked. That's just the feeling that I would think, especially when you're alone. I think you tend to do that. You're more conscious of that as living alone, particularly in elderly. However, we got to remember that she did get home about 9:45, 9:48-ish that night. Was she tired? She had had a few drinks. Did she leave with the door unlocked? And when she got home, she was just tired and went to bed? Had to be up early the next morning? Possible.
They got into the home and it was a targeted abduction. I used to tell our teams a lot of times, especially our tactical teams, don't kick down the door. See if the door's open first. Why kick down the door when it's already unlocked? We don't need to do that. So they could have gotten in that way if it was a targeted abduction. Then what we have is an 84-year-old woman, cardiac compromise, being waken up violently at 2:00 in the morning. We know that there's blood. The question is, what does the blood look like inside the house? Is it a blood trail, which then leads you can reasonably infer that there's a second person because there's no pooling of blood. That person is not laying there. So there has to be then somebody that you call, because we know the blood. And I went out and visited the house. I was actually out in Tucson. I took a look on the ground. The blood stops at the end of that walkway. You come down a set of steps, come out to the driveway. Mm-hmm. It ends right there. So it seems likely that this is a targeted abduction, because how unlikely is it? We know from the timeline at 2:12 was when there was a motion inside the house, is what they're saying, according to the sheriff's timeline. 2:28, her pacemaker did not ping. So we have a 16-minute window. In 16 minutes, somebody who was there to commit burglary instead decides, I'm going to kidnap somebody, and now has to arrange all of the infrastructure, the transportation, the logistics, get somebody to come over.
Right. You don't, and he's making a very good point there. You're not going to, if you're going there to rob someone, you're going there to rob someone. You need the money for whatever reason, right? You want to get your shit and go. You're not there to have tea with someone, and you're not there to unalive someone either. That creates a whole new set of circumstances that you did not plan for, and you probably don't want to go to prison for that. It's much easier to go to jail for robbery than it is homicide. So within that 16 minutes, it's very interesting.
That becomes less tenuous. If the only thing supporting that pillar is narrative, once you take the narrative away, does that structural beam still stand? No. So over time, I started with the binary. I'm leading more and more towards it's a targeted abduction that went wrong.
And when you say went wrong, what are the plethora of things, if you could give us an example, that could have happened? I mean, clearly...
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think this was a targeted abduction. But I mean, it could have been a targeted abduction that went wrong and just, they tried to get the money anyways. But to me, I just feel, in my opinion, based upon all we've covered and all we know, that the goal was Nancy. And you could say the goal was her alive. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. To me, regardless, they would have taken the medicine. If they wanted her to seem alive, they would have taken her medicine, right? You would think they wouldn't want to leave blood everywhere as well. I think the goal was Nancy, and it wasn't her alive. Tia, thank you so much, my love. 4 months. You are a legend, girl. Appreciate you. If video wasn't caller, they would be further, in my opinion. Tia, very interesting. You mentioned that. Thank you so much for 4 months. Really do appreciate that. We are going to go over here in just a minute what the infrared and how you can tell more likely what the colors is, how it, obviously it's black and white and gray, everything, but we're going to go a little bit into that. So that's very interesting. You mentioned that. Thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you.
Like you said, she had pre-existing health issues, right? So it could have been respiratory failure, heart failure, or maybe it was something that the abductors did to her. What goes through your mind when you think this could have gone wrong?
What we know for a fact is that it's Nancy Guthrie's blood. We don't know how the blood got there. We don't know the mechanism of injury. So we don't know, did she cut herself on the way out of the bedroom? Was she assaulted? But in any event, you have an 84-year-old woman with a cardiac condition, woken up, I would say, violently at 2 o'clock in the morning, taken from her home. So there's control on the other side. So when I look at that, here's my concern. I know a lot of people that trust. I get that everybody says, well, we hope she's still alive. They acted as though it's a missing person. But at some point, I started saying the quiet part out loud because it informs how you do your investigation. It informs what the public thinks. In fact, with you guys, you're reporting on it. What the public is told is the way they perceive the case. There's things you go through. You go through things that are known. You go through things that are inferred. You go through things that are assumed, right? We have to be, and then amplified. The media amplifies. We take what is known, then we infer something, then we assume it's true, and then the media amplifies it. If the media, and not saying that they're doing it intentionally, but if you amplify something that's incorrect, now I'm looking for a missing person. What I said was we should start treating this as a no-body homicide because that changes your search tactics.
Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting. Again, I think Sheriff Nanos failed because he didn't really use any canines for searching for Nancy, and there wasn't a lot of searches for her in general either. And then it makes you wonder, the United Cajun Navy came out, offered to help Nanos at no charge to him, and he rejected. Why? Because regardless, Nancy needs to be found, right? If this is a homicide or not, she needs to be found. Why is he rejecting this? Why hasn't there been canines? Why hasn't there been much searching?
That changes what you communicate to the public. I have no information other than just experience, but just reasoning it out to say that the reason that we haven't caught anybody, it's because these two actors, if Nancy died within a short amount of time of when she was taken control of, they would have realized that it was less risky to dispose of the body. Now, we're not looking for a concealed clandestine gravesite. It's very hard. I've been out in that area, the part of the desert. It's very tough to dig. So we're looking for a body dump, an open gravesite, or we're looking for a concealed gravesite.
And very interesting, right? Like I've spoken about a long time ago how this it does seem to be very much planned, especially if we're talking about the 11th, the 24th, and 10 a.m. on the 31st. If even one of these is one of the perpetrators or the person who did this to Nancy, seems very planned. Many times people will have a grave already dug, particularly if they know the victim or have some sort of relationship, some sort of closeness with the victim at some point. He says that the ground is very hard out there, so that makes it even more interesting, right? Because after doing a crime like this, whether you did it alone or had help, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of exertion. So digging a grave after committing a crime like this, number one, takes time. It opens you up to more risk. So is Nancy, did they put her in a grave? Are they concealing her in some way, or did they dump her?
But the other thing too, I would just leave with you, Jackson, think about this, that the reward now is up to what, $1.3 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, you and I just met, but I would dime you out for $50,000. You know, now you put 1.2 million on the table. If that doesn't move the needle, what does that tell you? I would say it's a very small group of people, no less than one. And I'd say no more, obviously no less than one, but no more than two involved in this, because if one person knows a secret and they tell somebody, it's no longer a secret. So I would say no more than two people involved, because 1.2 million hasn't moved the needle yet.
Interesting. So you think it's no more than two people, and it almost sounds like what you're intimating is that, you know, and what actually Savannah has intimated herself on social media is that Nancy is unfortunately no longer with us. So it's obviously, the prospect of it being a homicide is obviously very tragic.
Nope. Nope. I've worked in 3 different funeral homes, and I have done so many cremations. I can't even tell you. People always talk about cremations in these cases. Cremation is just not plausible. It's almost near impossible. The things that have to go on for a cremation to occur. You would have to be, first of all, in with like a funeral home. You would have to be, every employee would have to be in with it. And not only that, the state, with the crematorium itself, it's not just a fire pit. It's very much computerized. Even the doors are computerized. With the weight of the person, and because there is, people don't think about this, but there is, what's the word I'm looking for? The pollution. When we cremate, there is pollution. And so I think it's the EPA, they regulate with logs and everything. It's no, doesn't happen.
But since, you know, let's move forward and operate under the assumption that she has passed away. I want to put you in a hypothetical. The Guthrie family has hired you.
He didn't buy a crematorium. He bought a burn cage.
As a detective, to operate, I don't know the legality behind this, independently from the FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Office, what tactics are you utilizing to your advantage to find where Nancy Guthrie went?
So I'm going to make an assumption here. I'm going to assume that I have access to everything law enforcement has, you know, from an information standpoint. So if I have the same thing, the example I would give you, and I know you guys have covered it, Rex Sherman, the Long Island serial killer, Gilgo Beach. That case was not solved with new evidence. That case was solved with evidence they already had, and it took a fresh set of eyes to go back in. So I think this is the point in the case where you need to take a step back and say, park your pride at the door, park your ego at the door. Let's bring in new people and take a fresh set of eyes. I would operate as that fresh set of eyes. I would have no assumptions. I wouldn't let the media narrative, I wouldn't let the sheriff's narrative or anybody's narrative influence me. You deconstruct it, crime reconstructed. You deconstruct it from a first principle standpoint back into its foundational pieces. You fix the structural problems and then you rebuild back up. I would look at technical things, which I know they're doing, cell site location information. I would start looking at another thing. It's called AdTech. It's a company I work with called Fog Data. We do a lot of this type of analysis where we look at, for example, you've got a phone. I know everybody does. You've got apps that run on this phone, regardless of the carrier.
I really like this guy.
Those apps collect
very
data because
knowledgeable.
the end user license agreement says you agree to allow us to collect that data if I'm the app maker. A lot of people don't read the fine print, but it's in there. Well, we can aggregate those and look at signals. So I did a whole signals analysis around Nancy's house looking for things. The other thing you do is you do an egress analysis. You look at their own.
And you're right. You're right. It's strange that the video was taken from the cloud by the FBI. All cameras from surrounding houses were offline. It was just deliberately placed to be found by the FBI. I don't know if it was deliberately placed, but again, you think about how they, if, you know, the couple cameras offline was not working, pointed toward Nancy's backyard, are they trying to get footage? It's probably too late now, from the backyard, from the data that still may be out there. Probably
only so many ways to get to a main road when you leave Nancy's house. And I've been out there, like I said, it's like a bowl of spaghetti. You turn it upside down, those roads go all over the place. But at some point they get back to structured roads that lead down to other structured roads and interstate. So you start looking at that, you start saying, as we do our canvas, and I was out there, I'll tell you, Jackson, the thing I was surprised of, a lot of the businesses did not have cameras on the outside of their business. I saw very few in some of the major intersections that you would have gone through. The other thing too is, it's what I know they're doing, but you work your informant network. It's human intelligence, human. You start working your informant networks. What have you heard? What do you know? You look for the non-obvious. I know a lot of people say, well, she could have been taken to Mexico. I did a Substack with a friend of mine named Aaron Graham. He was DEA. He was actually targeted for kidnapping by one of the cartels when they
Yes.
Moved him from Mexico to Tucson. Another friend of mine, retired ATF Pete Forselli, he worked for ATF. He did home invasion investigations in Tucson and Phoenix. We talked about those things. So I would go back and I would start looking for the non-obvious thing. The other thing too I would do, Jackson, is I don't care what everybody else has said or investigated, because to them it becomes.
What do you mean by that, Mary? Justin, I watched another channel that drives around in Nancy's area, and some spots lose connect, he says, overheat. But same spot at night, it goes real blurry. Do you mean like the electronics? Morgan is cool. He has cats and a cat cam he switches to during his lives. Oh, that's cool. Is he on YouTube?
Canonical, it becomes sacred. You can't touch the narrative. The narrative, we've worked on this narrative. Here's our evidence. This is our interpretation of it. Well, the problem is you have the physical layer, the things that exist. Then you have the evidentiary layer. Evidence doesn't mean anything until meaning is applied to it, until interpretation is applied to it. So you go to the interpretation layer, and then from then you move up from the interpretation layer to the narrative layer. Well, too many people jump from evidence to narrative, which we're seeing right now. I've done a lot of analysis on the James Gracie case over in Barcelona. First when he was missing, now that he's been recovered, and the Spanish police are saying all indications are that it was an accident. And my question is, how do you know? You haven't.
Yeah, they say that the coverage out there isn't very good, Mary. Not only that, like I've been out in the field, I call it out in the field, like at a Nancy Guthrie type. And when it gets really hot outside, your electronics screw up. It's really hard on the electronics, and your electronics doesn't like it when it's hot outside.
Done an autopsy. You haven't done anything yet. How do you know? So we have to be careful of jumping to that narrative. So I would deconstruct everything back into the atomic, basically the atoms.
Why don't they add this guy to the case, Nanos?
To the atomic level and work backwards from that. Is it time consuming? Is it painstaking? Yeah. But we're talking about kidnapping. We're talking about potentially murder. These are the most serious crimes you can commit in a society, and you need to be dedicated to doing that. Mm-hmm. So I would bring everything to bear. There's forensic analysis, there's cell site analysis, there's ad tech, but just what we used to call Goya code. I was taught by some of the original members of the FBI's behavioral science unit. They called it Goya code. Get off your ass, knock on doors. Sometimes it's just shoe leather. Sometimes you got to go out and just knock on doors.
I like that, Goya. Get off your ass and knock on doors.
And do follow-up. So I can't promise you that would get results. But what can I tell you? If I were going to do this, I would start, and I wouldn't listen to what anybody else's assumptions were. I'd bring in a team. I'd isolate them, and I'd work the evidence from the ground up and go back and take nothing for granted. I don't care what your assumptions were. We disregard everything. We rebuild the case from the ground up. And that's
they, in my opinion, they need, number one, they need fresh eyes, right? They need Nanos out of there, and they need to literally start over. Like he's saying, forget everything they thought that they knew and start from scratch. Start at the beginning like it just happened.
I did that. That's how I would approach it.
I want to go back to something that you said that piqued my interest. There were a variety of
AI can't help you because you can't create the data. And that's the problem with hallucinations with AI. But what it can do is that if you can compile a large corpus, put all the information in one, you can't connect the dots unless you collect the dots, and the dots all have to be in one place. And that's the premise behind the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases. I would say it's, you put the police and the public on a single platform, put all the dots in one place, connect the dots. AI can help with that. AI can help with non-obvious relationships. AI can help and here's the biggest thing about AI though, Jackson. AI has to have guardrails too. You just cannot say, hey, ChatGPT, who killed Nancy Guthrie or who abducted her? You can't do that, right? So we actually, and one of the things we teach at the National Center and one of our law enforcement liaisons, I teach I
think he just really, likes what he does, and he's a good thinker, and he
developing the rest of the course right now, but it's called structured prompts and AI for criminal investigations. It's how do you use structured prompts so that you can take advantage of.
You speak fast, I speak slow. I'm Southern, so I talk real slow.
Open source. I do this on fugitive cases for the U.S. Marshals. One of our law enforcement liaisons just worked with the Texas Rangers on one of their cases, gave them 19 pages of information they did not know exist because we used a structured prompt. So there are a lot of creative ways that we can use technology. You have to define what you want out of it first. You cannot just say, hey, Claude, hey, Grok, go do this. Context. What's the role that you're assuming? Are you an analyst? Are you an investigator? Are you a reporter? Make sure that it asks you questions to clarify and deepen the understanding of what the task is, and then give it a task. I want you to produce a report. The structured prompt just for homicide investigations that I use is 2 pages long. That's not actually a long prompt considering some of the others, but it's long enough that it does what we need it to do. So that's the danger with AI. It has a lot of promise, but it is not a silver bullet. It has to be constrained. It's a weapon, but it has to be pointed in the correct direction, given the constraints that it operates under. And then anything that you do, you have to double check it. But it can look through 10 million lines of code in seconds to where it would take me days or weeks. So that's the advantage. It's speed and accelerating the momentum of the case.
Morgan, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. I have one more question for you. Do you ever see this case getting solved?
There's 2 things. There's cases.
Yeah, I think this is pre-recorded, and this guy's just like asking a question and he's just answering it. It's not like actually
that are closed and cases that are resolved. I don't think this case will ever, because you can close a case without resolving all the major issues. We've done that on homicides before, where if they do it with fugitives. I mean, 100 years later, pretty sure the guy's dead. So you can close the case, but you haven't resolved the structural issues in it. This case, I think all the information they need to solve the case is in their possession. All the information we needed to solve the DC sniper was in our possession. I did a whole briefing to the FBI on that. Do I think it? I can't tell you. What I can tell you is that they have to continue to take the steps. If the case is solved, I think it's going to come down to a lucky break. Sometimes you need luck. Sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good, as they say. Sometimes you need a citizen that overhears. Time, the other thing too, we found with unsolved homicides that have gone on for 10, 15 years, a fraternity brother of mine retired as a Cincinnati detective, but before he did, they went back and solved a 44-year-old case of the only unsolved officer killed in Cincinnati. And they did it because they went back and they just did interviews, and the family members said, "Oh, you're here because my dad killed that cop with a .38," which was exactly it. They were able to at that point not only close the case but resolve the case. They couldn't prosecute him because he was dead. It's kind of a roundabout answer, but these are the toughest things to answer. Do I want it solved? Yeah. Will it be solved? Not up to me. It's up to the evidence. It's up to the people. It's up to the perpetrators maybe making a mistake, information getting out. But that's why you have to maintain persistence. That's why you have to keep following up on this. Sometimes uncertainty, you have to accept uncertainty.
Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you think this will be solved. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it will not be solved. 1 if you do. 2 if you don't think it will be solved. Yeah, we was watching him yesterday, Sassy. Yeah. 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 1 2 2 2 2 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 2 2 2 1 2. So it's like 50-50. Y'all are blowing me away today. I thought it would go like heavily one way or the other. I love you guys, independent thinkers. I love that. Y'all are amazing. Okay. So they, oh my God, look at this. Let me show you something just real quick that's funny. Let me show you the ad I just got because I had a Corvette up here and I've been talking about Sheriff Doofy's Corvette. Look at that Corvette ad. Corvette ad. Come on now. That's crazy. All right. So people want to talk about this. You guys have sent me this like crazy. Monk's Intrigue, which is not a channel I'm not familiar with. I just subbed to them. And I'll drop it in chat or in the description here. Here we go. Give me a second. Because I don't agree with, but a lot of you guys do. And I love the independent thinking. Which is what we should all think with our own heads. Here we go. Monk's Intrigue. All right. I'm not going to play all the video here. I just want you to check this.
A video on loop, pausing it at certain sections, slowing it down, until I noticed something about the crotch holster guy's walk. He appears to have a slight hitch to his step, which I always attributed to cautious night walking.
He's got a
then
swag.
I noticed his feet.
I think
does
it's a
this funny
swag.
thing where it juts outwardly once his left leg is extended right here. Now watch his right leg right here. Now, before you kill me for wasting your time, let me show you this photo of the perp standing upright in his natural position, I guess I could say. Now, you could see.
Now, a lot of people says that he's bow-legged. I don't think that he's bow-legged necessarily. I think that's pretty standard from the back, maybe a little bit. But
his feet face outwardly still. So when his legs are straight, his feet point out. I looked this up, and the medical term is called out-toeing. So boring. So we're going to call it what it is. The man has duck feet. I want you guys to notice this as well. The slight bowing of his legs. Now, some people have straight legs. Some people have knock knees. Our perp appears to have, I mean, if only slightly, bow legs. Now, I'm going to warn you. You might get the chills when I show you this because you know who else has a very similar posture? Tommaso Cioni. He also has duck feet. But monks, come on. The perp looks a
Sorry, I was muted. I apologize. What do you guys think? I disagree, but do you guys agree with him? Many Europeans and Middle Eastern men walk that way. Yes. Taco? Can you see me? Keep going until they show the walk. Okay. Is that a tattoo on Tommaso's arm?
Lot thick.
To me, this guy's a lot thicker in the badonkadonk. His legs look thicker, even though I think he's probably got something underneath of it. Tommaso is older. It's not Tommaso.
Well, first, I want to say that's what she said. And second, it was between 30 to 40 degrees that night, guys. I can almost guarantee you that the perp was wearing double layers. I've been in that cold of weather, even colder, and I would do that double layer, which I will say I'm speaking from firsthand experience, right? Now, because of this, it would also help puff up, the perp a little bit. A fortunate or by design disguise for his body, okay?
This guy, the perpetrator here, he walks, he's younger. He's not Tommaso age.
Now, don't ask me how, but sometimes we remember the most obscure, useless information. So for some reason, I recall somebody saying early on, it was either Banfield, maybe it was Megyn Kelly, but when the perp turned around on the Nest camera footage, some lady said, "Now look at his mud butt." Now, I admit, my childish humor thought that was funny. Maybe that's why I remembered it. But I also remember thinking from the very beginning upon seeing, the crotch holster guy, that he had double layers on. In the beginning, that was not even...
He's got double layers. He does. I think he does. I think he's got a badonkadonk. But...
a question for me. Double layered everything. I used to do it myself, and I too would have mud butt because I had a whole pair of sweats underneath whatever pants I was wearing. And it was fascinating that this
I don't like that
relatively random thought, in the past actually feels kind of important right now. Just look at his pants. I bet there's a pair of sweats underneath those nondescript loose pants. I know. It's not solid evidence of any sort. And
now I don't think he's wearing clothes underneath because he's cold or anything. I think because so he can take those clothes off quickly and dispose of them.
You're still not buying it. Well, luckily for both of us, I ain't selling it, because if I had to convince you of anything, then the evidence was just not good enough, okay? However, while you're at the monk's shop of working theories, I'd like to show you something before you leave. So in those 2 hours plus of me burning my eyes over the crotch holster guy, my curiosity started to, veer towards other possible videos that I could go over. And so I went over, the Savannah Guthrie, Annie Guthrie, and Tommaso's walk to Nancy's memorial, which was in front of her house, gifted by the community and YouTubers alike. I also noticed something about Tommaso's way of walking as well. He too has a slight hitch in his left leg, just before the leg motions forward. As his leg goes forward, his foot comes up and juts outwardly each and every step. I mean, that's just a part of the way he walks, right? As part of his gait, as all the retired FBI agents tell us, he too has a duck walk. What do you think would happen if I were to put Tommaso and...
I don't know if I was unmuted or not. I was going to say guys walk like that more than females as well.
Walk side by side for you, okay? So have your wallet ready, because you might like this readjusted working theory.
Nope. Nope.
Now, of course, walking like a duck doesn't mean the man's guilty by any stretch. Right?
I don't buy
This
it.
has to be something that the FBI has already looked into, right? But you know what I'm learning about this case? I'm learning a lot about the FBI, that the FBI is just cool. They are the cool kids, just like Tommaso, you know, they got on those shades. And the FBI, they just simply share nothing with the public. However, unlike Nanos, the FBI will never, ever clear anyone until they are done with their investigation, once the case closes. So how can these two men appear to have a very similar walk and even share the same stance with a very similar bow-leggedness? I mean, is God running out of ideas on how to create Italian men? I mean, not to say the perp is Italian. Do you remember in a recent video, I mentioned that while I was doing face overlays, not to say the perp is Italian. Do you remember in a recent running out stance?
I'm sorry, I keep muting myself. This guy's thicker in the arms too. I don't see it. I mean, I just don't.
With a very similar bow-leggedness. I mean, is God running out of ideas on how to create Italian men? I mean, not to say the perp is Italian. Do you remember in a recent video, I mentioned that while I was doing face overlays, I realized that it just never really felt right or correct. Because as I was doing it, I realized that I basically have to search for a picture that was taken of that person from about, you know, midsection level, the right angle from where that Nest camera was placed. And you would have to take that picture with a wide angle lens, and that is just not happening, right? The closer that you get to this lens, the more distortion that you have. Everything just gets a little bit rounder. Even if
one thing I am sure is this is not Tommaso. I don't care how you, let me see here. It's just that's not Tommaso. Tommaso is older. He's gray. He is let me show you this. This was taken at Christmas. Now, in my opinion, it doesn't mean that everything is 100% clear, but I don't buy it. Tommaso's he's getting age on him. This guy is young. He's young. He's not in decline of testosterone yet. Tommaso is, right? You can tell this guy, he is young, he's in his prime.
Eyes fit, even if the mouth fits, it never felt right. So after a while, I just stopped looking at overlays, okay? But a gate, however, is very compelling. I mean, have we not heard former FBI agent after former FBI agents talk about the perp's gate since the Nest camera footage dropped? So I'm pretty sure that it's important if they think it's important. So how does this affect our working?
I want to see
that it's important. Gate, not heard plays, okay?
1 second.
But a gate, however, is very compelling. I mean, have we not heard former FBI agent after former FBI agents talk about the perp's gate since the Nest camera footage dropped? So I'm pretty sure that it's important. If
I want to show you something about his gate versus Tommaso's gate. Tommaso raises his foot higher than this guy. Tommaso raises his foot higher when he is walking foot side down, foot side down. Tommaso lifts his feet more. This guy does not lift his feet as much. They do step very similar, but it is much more common for a guy to step like this than it is a female. Females do step like this in some cases, but watch the difference. Watch how Tommaso's feet come off the ground more, and this guy, obviously his feet come off the ground, but not as high. He doesn't lift it. He's more relaxed with it. Watch.
Overlays, okay? But a gate.
Oh, crap. I'm going to slow it down.
however,
Watch out, Tommaso's feet
is
comes up higher.
very compelling. I mean, have we not
See his
heard
feet coming up higher?
former FBI agent after former FBI agents talk about the perps gate since the Nest camera footage dropped? So I'm pretty sure that it's important if they think it's important. So how does this affect our working tomorrow? They think it's important to drop the perps or former FBI, but a gate, however, is very, very compelling. I mean, have we not heard?
See how his feet is coming off more? He doesn't go near as high up. I'm not talking the side. I'm talking lifting his foot off the ground. Tommaso does not lift his, Tommaso lifts his foot more off the ground than this guy.
Former FBI agent after former FBI agents talk about the
see how he just barely lifts it, Tommaso.
perps gate since the Nest camera footage dropped. So I'm pretty sure that it's important if they think it's important. So how does this affect our working Tommaso theory?
It's
okay, so I will say
High
that
steps.
his absence from any part of the media might hold a clue. So let's start by saying that Savannah loves her sister and Tommaso is her sister's husband. So I
also
100%.
Also, Tommaso, his leg moves. His entire leg moves outward more than just his foot. This guy's foot moves, just his foot, not so much his entire leg as well. You got to cool it down, girl. Good night, Leslie. Love you, baby.
Support Savannah for backing her brother-in-law, and I expect her to keep doing so. So that being said, in my opinion, the Brian Enton video where Savannah, Annie, and Tommaso are visiting their mom's house, right? In this updated working theory, we are going to include this event. And because we feel that Tommaso has been avoiding the media, this has to be an event that Tommaso did not want to be a part of. However, I feel Tommaso was caught, in that situation when it happens to do with family, right? You kind of gotta go. Because I can't imagine Savannah wanting to go to this memorial alone without her sister, right? She definitely wanted.
No, I disagree, but some of y'all agree. So, but I would bet the farm that this is not Tommaso. This guy is way too young than this. Also, Tommaso's, he's aging, right? Well, it doesn't matter, but like he's got his eyelids are more over his eye, especially his right eye as well. This guy, not as much. He's younger. Why did Nancy know, or who benefits from her? Somebody does. Okay. All right. I want to show you what a good detective did. You guys remember when I got so pissed off at Sheriff Nanos when he said, whenever the reporter asked him, hey, aren't you a little worried that you cleared the scene in 24 hours and they had to go back? Aren't you afraid like the jury's going to see that, or the defense and the court will throw it out? And then Sheriff Doofy said, we'll let the courts worry about that. Listen to what a good person in law enforcement does.
And they told me that you can't even really call yourself a homicide detective until you've been through trial.
You've been grilled.
Yeah, Chris, you probably agree with that until you've been just raked over the coals, because
in court, they rake you over the coals. They criticize you, whether you did everything perfectly or not. They criticize the hell out of you, right? But listen to this.
Detective told me you don't know what you don't know. It isn't until you've gone through that crucible of trial that you start to simultaneously, they described, when you get to a scene, a homicide scene, you're simultaneously trying to catch the bad guy, but you're also trying to prepare the case for trial, because it would be tragic for them to go to trial.
You're preparing the case. When you are at that crime scene, you are preparing this for trial. You are thinking, oh my God, is the judge going to throw this out if I don't cross all my T's, dot all my I's? Sheriff Doofy needs to be removed, in my opinion. Yeah, we're going to go to the special report tonight. I heard that there was not really anything too new in it or anything.
Trial and slip through your grasp because you mishandled something, and you didn't do your job on the scene. So, and
because you mishandled something and you didn't do something on the scene. This guy and obviously Chris are brilliant because they are thinking about taking when this goes to trial. They're not thinking, oh, we'll let the courts deal with that, like Sheriff Doofy in his Corvette going to the gym every day and basketball games says.
And it's important for people to understand that it is not the detective's fault. They didn't ask for this.
Right. They got called out like everybody else.
Yes, and if this was done appropriately, you would be bringing in new blood to then be taught and mentored by the senior deputies or detectives in those units, and that's how you maintain that continuity. Because eventually, the old hats are going to retire. We all know, and so in a well-functioning agency, you have fresh blood coming in, being taught by the senior guys, and then that cycle just continues. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, I cannot explain it. They got it in their heads that they just need to create openings for new people, and so they just arbitrarily transferred out the senior people.
And if you remember, Daphne and I were talking about this the other day. I have, like, you can check on every single person's in law enforcement. You can check their record. You can FOIA everything. It's public record. We're the taxpayers, right? Daphne and I were looking at this, and almost every single police officer is new. They're all junior, like they're all very new hires. And to me, in my opinion, that is because Sheriff Doofy can, in my opinion, bully more.
Brought in fresh people without any mentorship, and it's just not a way to run an agency. And it's been heartbreaking for all of us to see this happen over the past 5 years or so.
So if the lead detective, the lead homicide detective, has 3 years on the job, may or may not have been to trial.
Yes. Now think about that. The fucking lead detective in an 84-year-old woman's case who has lived in this community since the 1970s, who has paid her taxes, paid her dues, upstanding member of the community. And she's getting a guy, the lead, that's been there 3 years and has never went to trial. I would be fucking furious.
And grilled on the stand. What does that mean for the Nancy Guthrie case if you've got somebody not their fault, but limited experience?
Yeah, and the case was actually assigned to a 2-year, not even the most senior or experienced detective in homicide. It was given to a guy with about 2 years homicide time, and it was concerning, particularly because we have experienced homicide detectives scattered throughout the agency, and in any, just in our opinion, any well-functioning agency with a good leadership would realize the problem, see the solution is to grab these people, bring them back in, assign it to the most experienced detective, because this is one of the most high profile cases our agency has ever had.
Oh, this is like the Lindbergh baby, man.
Yes. I mean, we had Gabby Giffords got shot. I was a detective, responded to that scene as well. So we've had Tucson's weird. We just have those kind of things that pop up every 5 or 10 years that are very tragic.
He'll have his,
but in a well-functioning agency with good leadership, they would.
Sheriff Doofy will have his people come in, or his camera crew come in, Sheriff Doofy is actually taking a call right now.
Hello? Hello? I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room!
Okay, that was Sheriff Doofy. He had just was cleaning his room. I apologize. He's very inappropriate sometimes.
Bring all those guys back together, assign it to the most experienced detective, and let them run with it. Enable them to handle it in the way that they see fit. But that wasn't done for several weeks.
Don't disturb me.
Fortunately, now this has been given to a task force, a combined task force with the FBI. I think that that's beneficial. It's widely believed that that's going to be beneficial for the case.
Right.
And the rank and file, I hope people understand that the rank and file, we work great with the FBI, hand in glove. So there's no friction between us.
Yeah, and let me guess, the senior guys were sent to the jails.
the senior guys have been scattered throughout the department.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think it's beneficial that the task force is based out of the Tucson FBI office, so they're no longer under our roof, and hopefully they have a little more freedom from command.
So you have this dynamic going on internally long before this ever came out, or this unfortunate event occurs, and you have a sheriff shuffling the deck and taking his senior folks and probably dispersing them all over the agency. And now this thing goes down.
We're going to go to the special now and play some of it. They had a special on Mrs. Guthrie tonight. And credits going to go to KVOA TV.
But soon came a different group of people causing
They're gonna
chaos
blame-
in our town. From pizza deliveries to a crime scene to people showing up for photo shoots outside of Nancy's home. People even
They're gonna
asking
blame
to sit at the
YouTubers.
same table the Guthrie family sat at when they were together at a restaurant last fall. Local leaders say these scenarios didn't just cross the line, it may have made things worse.
I wish that there were, we stopped having these sort of people that have a following in media platforms.
What does listen? I understand. I get it that people don't like, people in the community and stuff like that. I understand it and stuff. But don't say it makes the fucking case worse. How does JLR sitting out there recording a house, how does that make it worse? I mean, seriously, how does him sitting out there recording what police are, walking around, how does that make it worse? It is your detectives, it is your police force that make it. Stop with that shit. It's just, to me, that is just people who doesn't want, like, the police, in my opinion, parts of them, not the FBI, not wanting to take accountability. It always goes on to the YouTubers. It's the media, many times, in my opinion, doesn't like YouTubers because of they get more views. They get more views. We don't provide just a I don't know, a 5-minute clip. You see everything as it's happening, when it's happening. Now, did I like everyone that was out there? No, I didn't. But regardless, don't say that they're making it worse. How? That's exactly right, Lisa. They can't control the narrative. It is a time, it is a new era where people can go out. It doesn't matter who the hell you are. You can go out and record what the hell you want. This is precisely why people don't trust the big media anymore. Because they want to shove a 3-minute clip down your throat and you take it and you swallow it. And that's that. Right? And that's why I appreciated people like Megyn Kelly, who edited like a mofo. I mean, you can say till the day of judgment, for all I care, we're annoying, we're assholes, or I don't care. You say that, whatever. That's your opinion. Kumbaya, mother chicken. Everyone has an opinion. We're 8 billion people on the planet. Everyone has an opinion, right? But don't say that they're making the case worse. How? They're sitting in a lawn chair recording a house and watching you guys do whatever the hell you do. That's what bothers me, that part. Yes, and nosy. That's just the way it is. I mean, I've been a lot of places where a lot of people don't like it, right? Like, anytime you're at some place, people's going to disagree. Why do you do that or whatever, and that's fine. That's their right. But it's just as it is your right to go out and do it. Now, I think you need to be putting out accurate things and doing it as responsible as possible. Yes, I don't think you need to be saying things that is not credible and all that. Like, I get that. But that really annoys me. And they're like, oh, they're making it worse. Now, I think they can be making it worse if they're saying a lot of BS. But it's just, this is the world we live in now. Right? This is just the world we live in now. So,
acting as if they are investigators. I do think that it is hurting the investigation.
Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva says in at least one case,
Is she the woman that told people to get out of her town or whatever? The people, I mean, can you imagine like all the media, YouTubers, TikTokers, and all that who came there and spent money? There was hundreds of people there at the peak, right?
a name shared during
Okay,
a
honey, I
live
got it.
stream
Thank you.
led to threats.
He was threatened, his family was threatened because they heard by a reliable source.
Then came the false accusations directed at members of the Guthrie family and friends, blatantly accusing some of them of being involved in Nancy's disappearance in the midst of their most intense time.
But the thing is, like, they can't just say that that was YouTubers. Like the media was writing that. The media, your people.
Time of grief.
People that, in my view, have taken sort of a shameless, shot across the bow of decency for this community, for those families.
These kinds of erroneous reports, comments, and posts have damaged reputations and are ruining the lives of innocent people. One of them, local band member and family friend of the Guthries, Dominic.
Now, I'll be the first to say I don't think for any stretch of the imagination should any media, any YouTuber, or any person saying that someone did this, right? Like, you can't say someone did this. You can have your own opinion about why you think something is strange. Like, I think it's strange that the FBI was at their house 3 times. One time they were there 3 hours. They left with evidence, bags, totes, all of that. How it took longer for their vehicle, longer than it did anyone else's. But there's no way in hell I would say that they are involved. And I will certainly say that this person is not Tommaso, right? Like, you can have your opinion, but your opinion doesn't change your investigative work, right? Your opinion, my opinion, does not change the outcome of this case. The person who did this to Nancy and how you investigate this is what determines the outcome of this case.
Evans told the New York Times his life has been turned upside down after being linked to the case.
The typical consequence for a journalist that has defamed someone is the news station or newspaper gets sued. If they lose, an insurance company for that journalist is going to have to pay a judgment. You can't successfully sue YouTube itself or Facebook itself because there's federal law that protects that.
But this is the thing. So if, for instance, this is my question, genuinely. So they went to Tommaso's house, right? They went to the Tommaso's house. What is the difference in the media standing outside their house for hours and days on end? And what's the difference of a YouTuber? Right? You both show up. You both say what you know. You both might say your opinion. Right? Or is it that, I don't know, this big ass corporation has potential competition now? I don't know. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, dear. So, I mean, I don't think we're peace. So that's very kind of you. I don't think we're better. In fact, to be honest with you, I think some of them are way worse. To be quite honest with you, but this is the thing. It's not different necessarily, right? Like, there's people out there that I didn't care for or anything like that. But it doesn't matter what I think. I'm just one of 8 billion, just like you are. Everyone has a right to exercise their freedoms in this country. And the whole part of exercising those freedoms is not everyone's going to agree with it. Right? I mean, we get pissed off at people who don't agree with us all the time. Right? Every day. But that's the point. You're able to say you're pissed off. I'm able to say, or they're able to do whatever they want to. Right? It just pisses me off when they're like, oh, they're guys.
Platform.
With both platforms and those creating content on them hard to hold accountable, the damage their content may cause can be immediate and lasting.
Horrifically damaging to people that are falsely accused, for example. Why?
My question is this guy, this attorney, is he paid by, I don't know, big media?
Well, in the modern age, you now have a scarlet
Just a
digital
question.
letter, right? There may be vigilante justice, people giving out your home address, your phone number, your loss of privacy.
And unfortunately, these reckless reports continue to this day. They have devastated the Guthrie family and their friends, adding to their pain.
Even in the midst of all of this, there have been.
So it's okay. So this is the thing, right? So it's okay for the big media to say that the police are in Tommaso's home at the time, and they've been in there with 3 hours going over with what appears to be lights, with the lights turned off, and they're coming out with evidence bags, and they're coming out with a folding table, right? It's okay for them to stand out there and say what they think might have happened inside the home and what they came out with. But it's not a YouTuber. And then they say, well, people are blaming, like the family and stuff like that. Nobody should blame the family. Nobody should blame anybody. Asking questions is different. Asking questions, you shouldn't place outright blame on anybody because nobody knows. Well, I'm playing this because Cassie messaged me. She's like, oh, they're fucking tearing up, YouTubers and stuff like that. And I'm like, of course they are. Of course they are. They always do, because they're $1 billion, there's how many big national news stations, count on 2 hands in this country. They're worth billions of dollars. Of course they're going to say, right? So, yeah, and that's right. That nobody, to be honest with you, like, that's where I get irritated. Oranges. That's where I get irritated. To be honest with you, um, like there's a lot of people who don't like, like the YouTubers but I think it's different if you're out there reporting what you see, and all of that, just similar to a news reporter with the big media. But I think it's different, and I really respect everyone's views if you believe in psychics or not. But I really think where it gets damaging is where the psychics and stuff start saying things that some vision that comes out of their head. That's just me, though. To me, that is 100% reckless. I don't have a problem with psychics or anything paranormal or anything. I don't ever, and you guys know this if you've watched my channel for a long time, I don't ever bring it into true crime, ever. Because I don't think, in my opinion, it should be brought into true crime. Right? Like that TikToker who was talking about the Idaho 4. Right? So, but that's just me. When it comes to, I just don't think psychics and true crime mesh very well. That's just my opinion on it. You may completely disagree with me. That's absolutely right. But yeah, I think that's where it's more damaging. I don't think you should be out there while investigation is going on, spreading your gossip and dumb crap. Let the professionals do their job. Stay the hell out. That's probably why and you have every right to believe that, Teresa. But them standing out just like the media is no different. There's no difference. Again, I don't agree with everyone that's even out there. But it's not about what I agree with or you agree with. It's just about they're doing the same thing. That's it. So, let me go to this. This was a beautiful part of it I wanted to show you guys. Oh, let me point this out real quick.
To keep a watchful eye and ear out, and just to remember that she's still missing.
For Melanie, it's a labor of love. She and her friend Regina started making ribbons in 2003 when Lacey Peterson, a pregnant California mom, went missing. They made more when Natalie Holloway disappeared, and for others, until it became too much for two people.
I've been praying through every ribbon I make for answers.
Compelled by Nancy's story, Melanie started making ribbons again, and she sent the first batch.
Hold on. It's about this up here. I'm going to drop this link so you guys can watch it all. Here we go.
It does. It affects you because you can feel it in your own community, in your own heart.
For his employees, Ray says wearing Melanie's ribbons offer hope and remind us that Nancy is still out there, along with others that are missing. He believes as a community, we can all help by remaining vigilant, and he wants to emphasize that for both.
You know what I think is very interesting? Now? Look at all the reporters. Look how many of the mainstream reporters that are no longer mainstream. That should tell you a lot, in my opinion. That should tell you a lot. They quit their mainstream and they became YouTubers. Why is that? Look at Megyn Kelly. She calls it out. She calls it out, whether you agree with Megyn Kelly or not, but she calls it out. Look at all of them that have created a YouTube, a TikTok, a Facebook. I know, like a crossover, because there is more free will. Absolutely. There's a lot more free will. They can, they're not as, it's not as corporate. They're all flipping. So are you going to say that? I mean, I can think of 5 or 6 just off the top of my head. Big, the biggest reporters that we saw every day on mainstream news. Oh, if anybody thinks about, in my opinion, that corporations give a damn, just like Megyn Kelly just said, right? Just look at that.
English and Spanish speakers.
If you see something, say something. Si ves algo, diga algo.
Omar works at El Charro and was there when the Guthries visited in October. He and other El Charro workers support the Ribbon campaign.
We're still supporting them and we're still thinking about them every single day. We have a lot of people coming through here, so the more awareness we can create, the better.
And that awareness is already starting to spread among El Charro's customers.
It's a great program to have that, to stay united, to create something positive of something that's actually very sad.
A small ribbon that has the capacity to make a big difference.
If we can communicate a message of hope, then that's the only and best tool for all of us to be part of.
Employees at all the El Charro restaurants will soon be wearing these yellow ribbons of hope. As more on the way, Melanie has already made a second batch and they will be distributed throughout our community. Reporting from El Charro downtown, Robbie Reynolds, News 4 Tucson.
And from yellow ribbons of hope to the bonding between neighbors.
All right.
More than 6 weeks after Nancy disappeared, her Catalina Foothills neighbors say they...
It's a very safe, bucolic, beautiful place.
For 6 years, Jeff Lamy has called this Catalina Foothills neighborhood home. But he says what happened at this house, not far from his, has shaken everyone here.
I think it's disconcerting that this occurred, obviously, and we're so concerned about the family and supporting that family.
And thinking more about how to keep safe, both at their own homes.
Maybe people are more apt to lock their door or ensure that that camera is operational, that you've charged that battery.
And as a community.
There's been talk of reinvigorating a neighborhood watch.
But beyond those measures, many people who live in this neighborhood have been doing important work to help find Nancy. What you may not know is a network of neighbors here have played an integral role throughout this investigation, working behind the scenes to gather camera footage from each other's homes, cross-referencing that footage and getting it to law enforcement.
Oh, that's cool, Sense.
As part of a neighborhood action group which formed early on in Nancy's disappearance. One member of the group tells us that's our recipe. So far, we haven't found Nancy, but we can help law enforcement by being targeted. We let them decide what is actionable. The group continuing their work, they call it
Exactly.
the recipe for being helpful.
The best thing you can do for safety is create awareness, create connection with neighbors.
One neighbor who asked us to protect her identity says what happened to Nancy is bringing neighbors closer.
There's a sense of what now out here. We need to rely on each other, and I've seen a lot of that in these past few weeks. More checking
There's
up
Sheriff
on people,
Doofy.
more making sure everyone's okay.
She says it's helping the neighborhood heal.
Before this, we didn't know each other. Now we know a little more about each other, and we know we're in this together.
Something Lamy says.
To me, you would have to know, like, where you're going, you're definitely going to have a flashlight if you go through there of the nighttime, because otherwise you're going to end up with a cactus on your ass. You're going to end up with a cactus on your ass. I thought the family was making a statement. Yes. Let's see here. Let me see if they made a statement yet. Let me see. Did they make a statement yet? I'm looking. Okay, here we go. They did make a statement. I'm trying to find it though. Bring KVOA special, Bring Her Home, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, kicking it off by writing that they are grateful for the Tucson community support. The group says that they believe the people of Tucson and southern Arizona is large. Okay. They go on, we miss our mom with every breath, and we cannot be at peace until she is home. We cannot grieve. We can only ache and wonder. Our focus is solely on finding her and bringing her home. We want to celebrate her beautiful and courageous life, but we cannot do that until she is brought to a final place of rest. End quote. Basically, the family is reiterating that they've accepted the reality that Nancy may be dead, but they're still desperate for closure. As you know, Nancy was last seen January 31st after spending time with her daughter's house in Tucson, Arizona. Local authorities and FBI agents have worked in conjunction on finding her, but the leads, including an alleged ransom note we passed along to them, this is by TMZ, have proven unfruitful. So that was their statement. And that's what I was saying at the beginning of this. Like, of course, I mean, they can move on. Everything is up in the air, right? It's very much unsettled. And how can they do anything when they don't know where their mother is and they still got to continue on with their life? It's beyond. You know what I mean? Hey, Enoch, good to see you. Hey, Ash. Yeah. Hey, Brandy. Very, very sad. I was trying to show you where they were out at the church. Oh, wait, here's the statement, maybe. Message from the family. Here we go.
And tonight, the Guthrie family has a message for you, Tucson.
We are deeply grateful for the outpouring from neighbors, friends, and the people of Tucson. We are all family now. We continue to believe it is Tucsonans and the greater Southern Arizona community that hold the key to finding resolution in this case. Someone knows something. It's possible a member of this community has information that they do not even realize is significant. We hope people search their memories, especially around the key timelines of January 31st and the early morning hours of February 1st, as well as the late evening of January 11th. We desperately...
Very key dates there, right? Very key dates there. And it kind of makes me think that they have nothing. This is the family saying January 31st, the early morning hours of February 1st, as well as the late evening of January 11th. They were also talking about January 24th as well.
We ask this community for renewed attention to our mom's case. Please consult camera footage, journal notes, text messages, observations, or conversations that in retrospect may hold significance. No detail is too small. It may be the key. We miss our mom with every breath, and we cannot be in peace until she is home. We cannot grieve. We can only ache and wonder. Our focus is solely on finding her and bringing her home.
She didn't mention the 24th. The police recently
We
did,
want to
though.
celebrate her beautiful and courageous
FBI
life,
was
but we
asking
cannot
about.
do that until she is brought to a final place of rest. Thank you for continuing to pray without ceasing. The Guthrie family. Cameron and Christine, Annie and Tommaso, Savannah and Michael.
An emotional plea exclusive for News 4 Tucson. A family grateful for your love and support while
That's really sad. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. But particular dates. Claudia says, good to see you. Justin, I have a cousin who was kidnapped in 76. His parents wrote a book titled Friday Never Came. Kyle's body was found 2 years ago, a month after his mother passed. His parents. Oh my gosh. That's sad, Claudia. It's sad. I'm telling you, I told you guys my story. There was a murder in my family. Very, very, I can't even talk about it really. In my family right before I was born. And it changed my, I don't know my family like before it, but I know the pain around it. Do you know what I mean? Like, the pain around it and how the family talks about it and the changes that it's very similar to, if you know Josh, he's talked about his, and very similar to him and I have a lot in common from the lab. So, here you go. Here's this. This is what I wanted to show you earlier.
For our sister Nancy.
We needed a place to come together. And so a vigil popped into my head, and I know both Nancy and Savannah are very faithful, and I just feel like even if people don't pray, I feel like people want to do something. And if they can come together and share hugs and share stories, then that might make it a little easier.
Sally Shamrell helped organize the vigil. She says she met Nancy through her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, when the two were both young journalists at KBOA 30 years ago.
Welcome all of you who have come from the wider community for this vigil, for this time of prayer for Nancy.
Lupita Murillo is another former colleague who wanted to do something to send a message to the family that they weren't alone, and coming together was the way to do it.
Holding a vigil will make us feel like we're doing something positive. We're rallying around the family. We're asking God to please bring Nancy home.
Earlier in the week, Savannah had asked her social media followers to please pray.
We believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers.
And that's exactly what hundreds did at St. Philip's Church that night. They came from all over, many not knowing what to say, but others speaking out, praying for Nancy's return.
God is everything. I prayed for Nancy last night, and I assured her she's got this, she can do it, and we're behind her.
The church's pews filled with people holding candles, there to support the family and to pray for Nancy's return. Some who had never met her, and others who had known the 84-year-old for decades.
It's nice to show that Tucsonans are going to come out and support someone that the community loves.
So I thought that was really nice. This is, them honoring Nancy. Nancy's faith was very, very important to her. And my hope is that if she was taken unalived, that she didn't even know it happened. I just, my prayer is that she was just in bed asleep and she didn't even know. I think that's the most peaceful way you could think about it. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me. I do appreciate you. You guys are absolutely amazing, my beautiful pearls. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to mods, members, chat. Thank you for voicing your opinion, whether you agree or disagree. It all matters. I appreciate you all. Take good care of yourselves. You only get so many trips around the sun. And I will see you guys tomorrow, or if something breaks in the meantime. Tomorrow, I plan on having 2 lives. There will be 2 lives tomorrow. We might be doing one on Michael Vaughn tomorrow. I've really pissed off about something in that case, to be honest with you. One of the named suspects going under a fake account and writing the mother of Michael Vaughn and saying horrible things to her, blaming her, accusing her. Brandon TikTok. Brandy and Tyler, they've been through more than what some could ever bear. Yeah. 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 Brandon has no shame, though. I mean, I don't think all 4 of them do, in my opinion. I mean, you do this to a 5-year-old boy, allegedly. The things that are coming out in documents, and that I believe that Fruitland police will prove and put them hopefully under the prison. I don't expect much, of course, for them to not say something like that. Brandon, you're invited tomorrow to my live. Come on up. Come on up. Yeah, you've called me every name in the book. I don't care what you call me. Come on up. Come on up. Okay. Yes. Prayer for middle E2. Please keep him in your prayers. I spoke to the E's today as well. Please keep them in your prayers. We love the E's. They are very good friends and constantly praying. Middle E, right now, he is getting to do some things, and I'm really happy about that. But keep them in your prayers. They're wonderful people. Very much. Very much so. Love you guys. God bless you all. Take good care of yourselves. Good night.